Hello. So, evidently, it's been a while since I put anything out. I just wanted to make this as a sort of off the cuff discussion about AI and social media algorithms and the current state of media online. This is totally unscripted, so don't be surprised if I have to circle around a few times to get to whatever point I'm talking about, or like I slap my knee or some shit. I always end up doing something like that. But first things first, TikTok is going to die. It's going to be banned in the US, and the US is the largest consumer market for media in the West and probably in the world, arguably so. If TikTok gets banned in the US, which it seems like it's very likely that's going to be, then it's probably going to fade into obscurity everywhere except China, where the app, has quite a large foothold and came from to begin with. So I have no bets on what's going to be replacing TikTok when it does go. At least no solid bets. There's no new social media platform that can really rival TikTok in terms of like media focus and discovery based algorithm. Although, maybe if Instagram makes some changes in the next few months, it could take that role. I think Instagram is the most likely candidate. Admittedly, I am going to be sad to see TikTok go. It's really unfortunate. I've had a lot of fun with that app. I've been using it for probably around 4 years at this point. I can truly say there's nothing like it. It's kind of like Vine meets Tumblr meets Instagram in all the best ways. Yeah, and the reason why I say Instagram is probably the most likely successor to TikTok, um, again, you heard me, media focus and everything, but also Twitter has been particularly volatile lately. I mean, I've been using Twitter more often than I normally do for the past like 3 months. I kind of quit it in January because I'm totally done with the drama here. It's become a very politically focused platform, and it attracts a certain crowd of people. A lot of people have left for Blue Sky because it is so. The environment is just hostile. It's volatile. Everyone takes everything seriously, and it's very difficult to, have a good laugh or a joke without someone being like, well, actually, this offends me deeply. That sort of thing. Also, Elon Musk, I know he said he was turning it into a free speech platform, but based on the whole mess of drama that happened, like I think it was in December, where like he was banning a ton of right wing accounts, and like I don't like those accounts to begin with, but it got down to the point where anyone who would criticize him would have their blue checkmark verification, which they pay for, by the way, taken away from them. So it's not necessarily free speech. It's just say something that Elon agrees with or say something he doesn't agree with as long as he doesn't see it. And I think also in different ways, Twitter has, or should I say X? I think I've been calling it Twitter for the past few minutes, but it's still Twitter in my mind. X is just like its new little nickname or something. I don't know. They veered a bit too far into like too much free speech, if you know what I mean, where like there is quite literally blatant hate speech that is now allowed on the platform, and it's been overrun by the people who like to wear red armbands. And like, I'm not the type of person that'll just point a finger at someone who's right wing and be like, you're a fascist and you hate people. But like, legit, I've been seeing extremely concerning content just cropping up on Twitter, and I think it's like partially due to the death of 4chan. Like, I was a 4chan user for almost a decade, and the site has slowed down a lot in the past 2 years to the point where I stopped using it. I mean, there were other reasons I stopped using it, like the community there is toxic, but like it still had its fun moments up until I'd say like 2023 when it really started to go downhill. Like users were dropping off. There were bots that were on a lot of the boards, if not all of them. Activity was really low. Threads would kind of just like die within a day, and some would sit and rot on the catalog for days on end. I don't know. It was like a dead forum. That's basically what it feels like now on most boards. Like the activity has slowed to the point where it feels fairly dead. And that in itself is unfortunate because this was the pinnacle of internet culture at some point, and the anonymity, that's the thing, is quite a selling point. There aren't any other social media platforms or forums per se, but same thing at this point, that really offer that gimmick. And I think that is what made 4chan really special, because people didn't have to worry about, their face and their name being attached to what they say. And I mean, it had bad sides, but it attracted, a lot of people who are socially awkward and scared of socialization. And you got a big band of misfits, and that's what made it fun for me and a bunch of other people. And now it's not like that anymore. I mean, social media isn't like that anymore. 4chan hasn't actually changed all that much, with the exception of the captchas. Um, when you like sometimes try to log into something or make a post on normal social media, you get a captcha that you have to fill out where you need to click the boxes that have images similar to a description or something like that to verify you're human. On 4chan, those have gone to the point where it's like a 900-second wait, which is, I think, like a 15-minute wait to make one single post, or you have to give them your email, which, like, they say they don't store it on the server, but, like, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they were selling it to people just because. And it's like that defeats the whole purpose of 4chan. Like, this is probably the major reason that 4chan started to really die in 2024, because it was already suffering from, bleeding users to like Discord and Twitter. But now it's like people are more willing to go to Discord to Twitter. It's just easier to post there. Like, the sheer amount of steps required to post is just less. And so circling back around to the point I was making about Twitter, Twitter has been absorbing 4chan's user base, and it's really obvious to anyone who uses the platform that you have people who were formerly anonymous on 4chan, and I mean, they're still relatively anonymous. Like, you're using anime girl profile pictures, and like, you don't have your real name there. It's like, it's fine, everyone does that, but it attracts the people that are anonymous and extremely toxic about it, which is unfortunate. And that makes it very difficult for normal people to use, because a lot of these people, they still act like they're on 4chan. They'll try to play like it's a gladiatorial ring and attack you and jab you a little bit, and like the first few times it's funny, and then it just gets very irritating. Like, you go on a social media platform to have fun, and like, if you have a few arguments, it's a little spice, it's a little fun. But when you're arguing all the time, and when you're constantly batting off people that are trying to, troll you and demean you and make you feel like crap, then like, where's the point? Like, you're gonna leave the platform. Even if you are getting a lot of attention, if it's mostly negative attention, normal people are going to leave the platform. The only people that aren't going to leave are people that are either instigating, who really get a kick out of it, which, I mean, like, that's mostly like teenagers and, lol cows, like mentally ill people. But like, I don't know, call me crazy, but like, I feel like as a normal functioning adult, you shouldn't like arguing all the time. Like, I don't like arguing all the time. And so I don't think most people are going to gravitate towards Twitter as a substitute for 4chan for that exact reason. So it's anyone's guess if Instagram is going to go more in the direction of loose moderation. Mark Zuckerberg has suggested in recent interviews that he wants to take more of a Twitter approach to allow people to just say whatever, which in my opinion is kind of a bad idea, because I really like the amount of moderation that I see on Instagram. Like, it feels like it's a fairly well moderated platform. Like, it's not letting people that are too insane just say whatever hate speech or borderline insane opinions they have out loud too much. It keeps a good lid on the crazies. Like, they're still there, but it keeps a good lid on them, which is what I like. And he said some like concerning things that suggest that he would try to make it more like Twitter, which is what kind of concerns me. I don't want Instagram to change. I like Instagram, and it's been like my home base platform for almost 10 years now, where like I go when, just by default. That's like my default social media platform. So I mean, I hope it won't change, but it might. even if it does, I hope it still stays relatively the same, which I think like Mark Zuckerberg is less insane than Elon, so I really hope that he doesn't go in the Twitter direction of allowing people to just treat it like 4chan light. The second point of this video that I really wanted to make is AI. TikTok as a platform, it's really unfortunate that it's going to die because it focused a lot on like authenticity, spur of the moment ideas. You didn't have to edit your videos for them to get big. Things could just get big because of personality. And with the advent of AI, I'm seeing a lot less of like the quote old internet where personality mattered a lot. Like I feel like in spirit, people are going to be shocked when I say this, but I feel like TikTok is very old internet. It's like old YouTube. The way it prioritizes personality and discovery and finding new things and like the person and not so much how much you can polish the content. The impression I get from like a lot of content on Instagram or YouTube now is very different from TikTok, where it's like the content doesn't actually mean shit, honestly. Like a lot of it is just very well polished slop. And that especially comes into play when you're talking about AI and, AI generated images and AI generated, voiceovers and stuff. Like, yes, it is very well polished, but it lacks personality, it lacks humanity, and there's nothing that I really want to interact with or attach to when it comes to the AI generated content. In saying that, I'm very afraid that the death of TikTok may cause the sort of AI generated, overly polished turd slop content to become more popular. But at the same time, I think what's more likely, what I see happening, is that there's going to be more of a push towards authenticity again, and we're going to see an attitude very similar to what we saw on TikTok in 2020, even emerging among people using social media, which is like more authenticity, more like experience based content, more like spur of the moment ideas. Nothing really needs to be polished and edited. It's a lot about like the person that's making it instead of what they're making, and like the vision instead of how much you can polish it to look professional or, you know, mechanically made or whatever the fuck I'm talking about. This brings me to the one major point of this video. No matter how much AI can replicate, AI cannot replace personality. In its nature, AI is the combined slop of millions of posts in what is essentially like just content vomit. And it may have an uncanny resemblance to something someone would actually post, but it is quite obvious when you look at AI content for long enough that there is no soul in it. Like, there is no direction, there is no sentience in the AI content. There is no sentience in the AI content. It's just slop. And I think what's so important to remember for content creators, I mean, especially people like me who aren't big and just sort of, float around with their 500 something followers and make stuff for the hell of it, is that being yourself and having a personality matters a lot. It matters way more than how much you can polish your content or how professional it looks. And of course, those factors are important, but especially now that we've created a situation where basically anyone can polish a turd with AI and create an account that looks professional but's really just fucking slop, it matters a whole lot. You matter a whole lot. And I would say now that TikTok is, about to kick the bucket, it would be a really good time for more people to start making content and for more people to start really caring, or in other ways not caring, about how much they can polish their content or compete with AI, and just, using their personality as the main drive for their content, using their authenticity, their humanity as the main drive for their content. And so I hope I'm making sense here. I hope I'm not just, talking slop. Because even if you are like a bit crazy, I mean, I'm a bit of a weirdo. I mean, I was on 4chan for like ever as a teenager, I bounced around from different platforms and different niche communities online, and I had my toxic moments and everything, but I still feel like there was a lot of value in what I contributed to the internet at that time. I mean, I wouldn't say there was any value in like the times where I was, like toxic and like mentally ill or whatever. But I think the fact that like I was never trying to pretend to be anyone else or polish my content to the point where it didn't resemble me, I feel like that mattered a lot. I feel like being a weirdo in like a good way, where you present yourself authentically and you don't try to like harm other people in that, I think that is a good thing. And I hope content sort of steers more towards there as we see what is in one way a death and maybe in another way a rebirth for the state of social media. And I guess I've said everything I want to say. So hopefully I can put this video out on time. Hopefully it doesn't take forever to edit it. So also, for anyone concerned about whether or not you'll be seeing a new Coral video around the corner, this is my first video of the year, but it's probably not going to be my last. Probably not. Definitely not. I'll hold myself to it. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Goodbye.
Oh my god! Well, subscribe.